a bit much. It's kind of crazy, actually. Oh, I think it is live. No? Post details. Almost done. Stella, do you want to introduce yourself to people who may not know you?
Of course. Hi, everyone. I am Stella. I am the co-founder and CEO of Fractional, also part of the Sub2 family as well. That's where me, Caleb, and Steven all got connected because we're all a part of that amazing community. And yeah, just super excited that Caleb and Steven are running this project here because it's truly really the only way we're able to not gatekeep opportunities to the ultra rich and wealthy accredited investors and have, the opportunity for everyone to participate and be a part of, such a great, booming, scalable, and, you know, growing business. So I am personally very excited, very honored that Caleb and Steven chose to go this direction and just really open the doors for everyone to get involved. So excited to have them share more details in just a bit.
Very good. Okay. Well, Facebook doesn't want to go live, so we're just going to do it here, which I think most people are here anyway. One more
Awesome.
try there.
Let me know when you want to jump in. You want to give everybody a couple more minutes?
No, it's 6 o'clock. We like being timely, and there's going to be a recording, so we'll send it out to people. So let's rock and roll. Are we recording yet?
Let's
Yep,
rock
we
and
are.
roll.
There we go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, and big welcome to Stella. Thanks for being here with us. My name is Stephen Lower. I'm in charge of investor relations. When I joined this large real estate investment group of about 10,000 members in 2023, right from the beginning, I started noticing one name that kept popping up, and that was Caleb Christopher. Every time somebody had a question about structuring a creative deal, Caleb was there with a clear, detailed answer that made complex things sound simple. I remember thinking, this is definitely somebody I want to learn from and maybe one day do business with. So fast forward to today, and that's exactly what's happening. Caleb's one of the foremost minds in the creative financing in the US. He was featured in Pace Morby's Bigger Pockets book, Wealth Without Cash, and he's been raising the bar for safe, legal, and ethical creative transactions ever since. He's the founder of Creative TC, which manages dozens of creative finance transactions every month, and the founder of DOS Guard, the first product to actually guarantee protection against the due on sale clause. And naturally, he's graduating into launching Creative Title Company in Colorado, bringing that same integrity, innovation, and leadership to the title space to make creative deals smoother and safer for everyone involved. We're privileged to have him here today. My pleasure to turn the time over to Caleb Christopher.
Thank you. Stella, also thank you. Thanks for the comments in the chat, guys. It has been a long journey, and I've still got a lot to learn, but I'm happy to be here, and it's an honor. Shoot, man, you're throwing me off balance. Steven, you're actually a fantastic guy too. If you didn't know, Steven, my partner on this deal, manages over $25 million in assets. He is connecting capital to projects, and he started a company at the same age as I started Creative TC. And so I've gotten Creative TC to the point where it's managed in-house, and I'm proud of my people, proud of what we've done, of our track record, and it's time to move to the next stage, which is naturally a title company. So let me share my screen and let's get started. Now, to be clear, we're talking about what we're doing. I'm going to do a couple of things. I have multiple intentions here. Let me stop my screen share because I want to set the tone here. My intention is that everything I do is a life lesson for everyone else. So as I stumble forward and trip and stub my toes, I'm going to say, hey, there's a sharp rock over there. Watch out. So this is me stumbling forward as I learn to present, as I know how to go do the business, learning to present and all these things and the challenges involved. I want to turn those into lessons learned for other people. So my objective is that people can be here to learn, to ask questions with no obligation. I learn the most when I teach, so I'm here to teach. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to invite you to come along. I'd love to have you. I'd love for you to just learn, but that's what we're here for, okay? So now I'll share my screen. And there we go. So I have a background in real estate. We've been doing this for, 6 years now? Been owning properties, buying, selling, wholesaling, all the different things. And I started Creative TC to be what wasn't there for me. And that first company has done lots of deals, earned a lot of reputational credit with people. And so I achieved my mission. I actually, uh, it was like a year ago, I looked at my management team and said, what's our mission anymore? Except to optimize. We've achieved what I set out to do, which was to provide the service and expertise that people needed. And so we achieved that mission, and I'm looking for the next thing. And so over a year ago, I settled on Title Company. Title Company is the place where I find the most challenges, and I am extremely excited to be pushing forward on this. So it's been a long journey, and my goal now, my mission is to set the standard in the title industry. Okay, so let's talk about the title industry. One of the things I love about it is that it just feels low risk to me. It's been around for over 100 years, okay? And it's not really changing. Yeah, some technology's coming along, and you might ask me, what about AI? I just looked at an AI demo. It assists people in doing their job. It just speeds up the person side. It's not that crazy. So it's still people doing the job. And I really don't feel there's much differentiation between title companies because you're all doing the same job. There's not different processes. Everybody has to do the same stuff. It's a very regulated, mature industry. And it's even active when the market is slow, investors are still buying. People are still refinancing. And I think there's a wave of refinances coming in the near future anyway. So I like the title industry. I don't even think there's trade secrets. There's not a lot of room to differentiate or take too many risks there. And then in Colorado in particular, there's a $350 million market, the insurance market. Now, title companies make money in two different ways, and one of them is a little bit of a secret. They have insurance sales. We insure the transfer of a property and say, hey, if something's wrong, if we got this wrong, we'll cover it. We got you covered. That's the insurance side. That's $350 million in Colorado in 2024. Now, the other way they make money is on their labor, except the secret is they don't actually make money on that. It's pretty much break even, sometimes even losing money for a title company. So the secret is that they lose money on labor, but then they get to keep 85%. Now, this is in Colorado, which is higher than some other states. 85% of the insurance commission stays with the title company that processed the transaction. That is the fattest commission I've ever seen in my life. Sign me up for that. So I like it in Colorado because it's higher than in other states. Some of them are 70%, so it ranges, but 85 is on the very high end. We've also seen over 100,000 transactions in 2024. I believe that's on the, I know it's on the uptick. I'm looking at the trends. When everybody got their $17 stimulus check and now you can put an FHA down payment, 2021 saw a skyrocket of transactions, which was cool because I looked at title companies that were for sale, but they were really proud of that spike and not dealing with the reality of the drop and then the gradual uptick. So we're on this upward curve of transaction volume, at least for a little while longer. Also in the state of Colorado, we have a high average purchase price, and that matters because compared to other states, when you have a high average purchase price, that's what sets the price of the title insurance premium. So we like high average purchase price states. There's not a ton of competitors. And this includes closing attorneys and other people who are licensed to close transactions who don't actually do it. In fact, I tried to buy a title company that had 3 transactions a month and couldn't pay their people. I said, listen, I just want to buy your license. Let me get to business a little faster. They wanted $1 million. Not happening. Not happening. And we've seen some investor-friendly legislation. So I like the Colorado legislature's forward thinking, particularly in regard to banning restrictions on unrelated people in a household. Basically, in common terms, you can have rent by the room now to more than 2 or 3 people. And that's a big deal because co-living is like the thing right now. And I like that. We also don't have to have an office. And so we plan to run a virtual company. My first company is virtual. We've been successful. The second company is virtual. We will be successful. Okay. So we like the industry. We like the Colorado market. What is the actual opportunity? Where are you building your business plan around? If there's no if it's stable, if it doesn't change, there's no differentiation, what is your business plan? I think it comes down to the customer experience. I know it does. The customer experience determines who you're going to shop with. If everything else is the same and I make you feel better because I have a sharp camera, because I call you, because whatever it is, whatever you like, the tone of my voice, you're going to come back to me. And so my goal is to earn 5-star reviews for my customers. We've got customers and clients. So actually, I want to earn the 5-star review for my clients, the people who keep bringing business back to me. It's the brokers, the agents, the wholesalers, the people who choose to do business with me. Now, there's a buyer and seller involved, yes, and they also have a choice. But when that choice comes with a strong recommendation from somebody who says these people serve at the top tier every time, and I've been very happy with them for a long time. Sure, you can choose somebody else, but why would you? That's what we're going to do. And we've all been involved in a transaction where a title company, everything's going smoothly, and then you plug in the title company and they don't communicate quickly. They don't pick up the phones. They work on their own schedule, their own checklist and deadlines. They just feel out of touch. I don't even have to go into too much more detail. I'm sure you've got one in your mind. I've seen deals fall apart because of it. That reflects poorly on people. That reflects poorly on the people who chose the title company or endorsed it. So what I'm saying is that no matter whether you're a wholesaler who's brand new or a broker who does 20 deals a month or anything in between, when the customer experience suffers, so does your reputation. You have to choose the right partners, the right referrals, the right everything there. That is part of your professionalism. So again, my mission is to earn the 5-star reviews for all of our real estate professionals who bring us the business, the repeat business. That includes a written process where we do follow-ups and say, hey, didn't agent Stella do such a good job with your deal? Wasn't she so kind and so nice? And we just love working with her all the time. I actually have her 5-star review link. Can I send that to you? Would you mind just leaving her a review to let her know how much you appreciated that? People will do it. Guess how I know? That's what I already do. That's how my first company, literally, my first company has more 5-star reviews, period, than any title company I can find in the entire state of Colorado has reviews at all. We have more 5-star reviews than they have reviews, period. So that's not my aspiration. That's my baseline. That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to differentiate. So catch a little bit of my passion and my vision. That is basically the business plan in a nutshell. So my vision with that mission is to capture 1.5% of the Colorado closings market. Now that's a little over 100,000 transactions. So we're probably looking at 1,500 transactions a year as our vision to capture that. This is a 5-year play though. So I want to do that within 5 years. And then we'll see if we can sell. We'll see if we can roll up. We'll see what we can do. Maybe we expand to more states. But to provide a clear business plan for you guys, what we're planning on doing is capture 1.5% of the market and look to see what offers we get at the end and sell. We may hold to our values at the end and say, you know what? I don't like you, buyer. We're going to continue rolling on. We can make that decision at that date. But for now, this is the plan so that we have a plan to move forward. So what is the plan? How do you do that? How do you execute that grand vision, Caleb? Start with the investors. I have the investor community already. I wouldn't say in my hand. I don't want to be cocky here, but we have great relationships with people who've left 5-star reviews who've been asking, Caleb, when are you going to open a stinking title company? I'm tired of dealing with A, B, and C. I like how you communicate. I like how I don't have to ask you questions. You just know stuff. Okay, let me go build it, So we have the investor community, and we market during this phase. We market by showing up and participating at events, sponsoring events, running boot camps, shaking hands, and locking in with these people so that they come back and they refer. Now, that also means doing things that help wholesalers and other people go get deals. We'll help you get deals because when we build that trust, you'll come back to us. Next, we pivot. So we've been doing, during phase 1, we're also marketing general so that you start seeing my face. You start seeing our company brand. You start seeing reviews and case studies. In phase 2, we start locking in with a business development manager on staff. We will then pursue those broker and agent relationships. Now, we've done our marketing plan, and it includes a customer acquisition cost. And so we know what we can even spend to get one of these people because we know how many deals that they're worth in their first year of business. That's important to make sure we're spending the right way in these channels. In phase 3, we scale that up. During phase 2, I'm going to be building relationships and focused on building relationships with continuing education providers. That's the CE. Because guess what every single one of these people has to do every year? They have to attend a course. And if I can put my face, my name, my brand, my expertise on that course, you will not escape me. I become a household name within the state of Colorado. Now, Caleb, aren't you going to go nationwide? Yes, sure, eventually. Go ahead and ask me that again later at the end. Yes, I'm sure we will. But if I am raising capital, if people are trusting me with their funds, then I need to be a good steward of that. And my goal is to capture 1.5% of the Colorado market. That is my focus. Unless and until that happens, we're not doing other stuff. Okay? Now, structure and staffing, I think I was going to skip this slide. While I've got it up, I'll show you two things that are important. Consultants are a superpower. Some people think it's weird to pull in outsiders and not just hire it in. This person right here took a company, and they don't want to be named. They took a company, title company, from $0 to $10 million in sales. I can't hire that person, but they'll sure consult for me. So it's a fantastic thing to have this person on board. I already have that person. We already have a mergers and acquisition specialist, because if the goal is to exit, we want to make sure we do things the right way. So plugging in consultants, and the marketing guy is going to be, that's the magic right there too. I'm so excited for our consultants. And then the second thing I want to show you here is this. We're starting out with one pod in the operations group. Now, we have to have a licensed person in the United States. But we can have unlimited escrow assistance, just somebody who's unlicensed who does the busy work. I don't want to minimize this position, because literally one of my best people at company number 1 is coming over to company number 2. I don't want to minimize the significance of that role. That's a great person. But this pod of 3 for my competitors, at the top end, if they're paying the top rate of people, they're over $200,000 a year. For me, at the very top end of what we would possibly pay, it's under $150,000. And so as our company grows and scales, that's a cost differentiator. It's not just the service, it's the fact that we can deliver the same or better service at a lower cost as well. So this is how we start, right? FYI, I underwrote the company 2 different ways. One with funding, and 2 without funding. It works both ways. So either way, I'm starting with existing staff. One of my existing staff members is getting licensed to be our initial closer, and I've got somebody ready to move over to support her. So we're ready to go off the ground right there. Next, as we grow, we're going to bring in people. Now, here's what the special thing. I get to cherry pick from anywhere in the United States as a virtual company. I don't have to shop for a professional who's within 30 minutes of my office. Isn't that pretty incredible? We can cherry pick people from across the nation. And so we bring in those experienced pros, and we continue scaling. Now, this is the other part of my secret sauce. Creative TC is where I am pulling people from. Creative TC actually has a hiring pipeline out of South Africa. That's where most of my staff are. We have a mix, we have a hybrid staff. And I continue to plan to do like a 2 or 3 to 1 ratio of South Africans to the Americans. So we have this recruiting pipeline. Now, as a visionary and as an entrepreneur, it's my honor to serve people in a way that gives them a career path. So we recruit here, we train them into company number 1. And only once they've aligned with our values, they've learned the things that we want them to know, all of that, and they've performed for a while, do they even get a chance to come into the title company. It's this beautiful grand plan, multi-company. When we have surge of work, guess what? We can surge back into this staff and say, hey, I need a little bit of extra work from some people. Let's cross-bill between companies. I'm going to go way too far into the details. I've got so many ideas there. Let me shut up. Stephen, come on stage. Are you going to do this one, Stephen, or you want me to do it? Oh, you got 2 of you. Well, we'll see how that goes. So we are looking at the financials, and he can take over whenever. Oh, way better. Way better. Yeah. By the way, before I let you go to the next piece, Stephen, and I see a question. Jenny, I will get to that in a second. our title consultant, the mergers and acquisitions guy, told me you can plan on a 5x. I said, cool, thanks. I'll be conservative. Let's go with 4, just to be sure. By the way, Stephen, I didn't tell you this because it just came in. I just got a letter of intent. I just got a letter of intent from an investor who's planning on buying a portfolio, and she wants to work with us. 200 homes in the next 6 months. 200, like, what was our annual transaction volume for year 1? 577. We're almost a third of the way there in one shot. That's incredible. I'm so excited for this. Okay. You ready, Stephen? Okay. Well, it is a projection, and I will say it is a conservative projection, but also Stella's going to have my hide if I don't explain clearly that we're talking about an investment club. Caleb is starting a business, and I'd love to have you guys come along, but what we're doing here is showing the business plan for a title company where you can contribute funds, if you want, into this investment club, and the club decides, hey, we like Caleb's business, we're going to invest in that. So you will actually have material participation in that. Not to mention, I want to treat you like an insider anyways. So yes, the goal is, after conservative underwriting, and remind me to tell you what its typical settlement statement looks like and how much money we're going to get from each transaction. The goal is to turn a $300,000 starting fund, which enables us to market, into $722,000 over a 5-year period. That's over the 5 years. That's the return we are projecting. I want to, by the way, this valuation at a 4x, the point of doing that is I want to project low but aim high. 1,500 transactions after 5 years, 1,500 transactions in a year, I think that's extremely doable. So I want to make sure I'm not over-promising on what I can deliver there. So now, when we showed this in Arizona, somebody told me this slide sucked. They didn't understand it. I thought I simplified, so I'm sorry for failing to do that. What this means is over a 5-year period on a quarterly basis. So the first profit distribution is going to be $7, I'm sure. You know, whatever it's going to be, $7. Then the next one is $10,000 and so on until it gets to over a 5-year period. In quarterly payments, it adds up to $42,000 with the current projected numbers. You will have a copy of the business plan. You can have, like, everybody's entitled to this. We're not hiding it. Again, title companies don't have secrets, so come look at the numbers. Come look at the business plan. Compete with me if you want. It's pretty straightforward. And then at the end, we sell, and the person who puts in 50, this would be their share of the sale with the projected numbers for a grand total, 50 in, 118 out. Okay? And when we presented in Phoenix, Jamil Damji was like, yeah, I loved my title company. That worked out great. So I'm like, thank you, senior validation. So what does it look like if we do this thing? If we can fund this investment club? By the way, we've got 135,000 committed out of the 300 we're raising. So I'm excited for that. If we fund this thing now and we close in November, how long does it take to actually do this? Well, you have to start a company. That doesn't take long. It's a couple of days. And then you have to get licensed. Licensing is not fun. Setting up systems is not fun with title companies. My consultants tell me so. I can tell you it takes a while. So if we did this in November, if we started today, basically, it would be May, I think, by the time we actually are able to start running files. That's unfortunate. Do you remember how I told you I've been working on this for over a year now? I've underwritten businesses. I've underwritten 6 title companies, made offers on 3, multiple offers on 2 of them. They haven't worked. You guys, I don't want to wait that long anymore. I've already waited twice that long. We're doing it now because I started the licensing process months and months and months ago. We have our license. We have insurance. We have all the things. Bank accounts. We're spun up. Our software's in. We have our first files in. I think the first one closes tomorrow. Yeah, it does. Our first file closes tomorrow. So we're already in business. Technically, we're pre-revenue, but we're already live. And I just got a letter of intent from a lady to bring us 200 homes in the next 180 days. She's a portfolio buyer. Ask me about her business model. It's fascinating. I love it. So I don't know what other slides we got here. Oh, we didn't even show this in Arizona, but we're planning because, listen, I told you I wanted people who are going to be involved. So for the person who's looking at this and they're like, yeah, I'd like to park some funds. This is not for you. I don't want just parked funds to sit. That's not, this isn't supposed to be a bus where there's a passenger that's not doing anything. I want somebody's connections. The reason I'm not going with debt is because I want partners. I want people who are going to ask questions. I learn when I teach, so make me teach you, like bring the connections that you've got. That's the value of an investor to me as opposed to debt. And again, it works with or without funding. So Caleb is doing a title company. He'd love to have people come along. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll see you on the other side. So we want to bring people into a strategic planning retreat. The people who are able to commit at a higher level, we're going to throw this bonus in. Now, you're going to have to pay your own way because we're not going to use investor funds to pay for your trip, but you're eligible to come. We're going to bring in a consultant to help us dial in our business plan, dial in this, that, and the other. What do we need to focus on over the next 6 months? And I want people involved who are going to help ask questions. And this is like a can of Pringles, baby. Once you pop, you can't stop. I know we're going to go for more states. I can't wait to, except I have to wait to because that's my commitment and I want to honor that commitment. Okay, we're going to be giving you access to live P&Ls, all the information. If you wanted to learn about a business from the inside, that is my objective. And I can tell you from firsthand, I joined a company to learn from the inside, and I am not learning from the inside. I'm learning what not to do. And so I'm going to bring that to you. I'm learning what not to do, and that's what I'm bringing to my people. What else do we have? Oh, it's just Q&A. Now, we can go any direction here, but we can look at business plan, other slide deck items. What else? Yeah, I've got a bunch of slides, but I don't want to bore you guys with that stuff. So oh, you heard that story. The can of beans story.
And grow together. Like, I just want everyone to just think about how powerful that is. Because for me, like I've seen so many business people where, they're in great businesses, they're in complex businesses, and instead of opening the door for investors to actually become partners and do it, what do? They will sell courses and charge you, 50 grand to teach you how to go run your business, right? Versus over here, it's like, no, we're not doing that, right? Like Caleb and Steven are actually bringing you guys to be owners in this title company together, right? Where you get to learn and earn and do all of that and become part of the business. Like seriously, I am just so blown away that you all are doing this and just how incredible this is. So just wanted to share that first before I get into the technicals, but
Well, and I do
seriously.
want to say this is not a new develop. That's not a new for me to operate that way. That I built what wasn't there for me in the first place. I've joined groups and mentorships, and you call it whatever you want, multiple things where I thought I was going to be an equal partner. It just doesn't happen, and I'm tired of that. And I'm just going to build what hasn't been there for me. That's what I did with Creative TC. So now people can do safe, legal, and ethical creative finance deals with no cost up front. Like, jump in. Let's even find out if you have a deal. Let's make sure it's safe, legal, and ethical. And if you have a deal, great. I'm here to serve you. But same thing with this title company. Let's build a business together and learn together.
I love it. Well, I am going to drop the link here in the chat for those that want to follow along. I'm about to show you all how to get involved in joining the club. So click on the link that I just shared. You'll see this page right here. It has pretty much all the information that Caleb and Stephen went over. For anyone that wants to, review in your own time, everything is here. And if you're ready and you're excited, you want to jump in, it's super easy to get involved. All you need to do is hit this blue button. That's how you join the club officially. And we will ask you, what investing entity you would like to use to participate, right? So you can obviously invest as yourself individual. If you have a business, if you've been traditionally investing out of your LLC, that's also possible. If you got an SDRA, you can plug that in as well. So pick whatever, entity you'd like to use to join the business. And one thing we do require is identity verification. So obviously everyone is now entering a business together as partners, right? So we want to make sure this is a safe place. Everyone is who they say they are, right? So that is part of the process of Fractional when everyone joins the club. So just make sure you enter in your personal details, your business details correctly. We will verify that you're who you are and this business is going to be successful together because everyone here is truly themselves. So that is part one. And then here, after you've submitted your information, we will then ask you how much you like to invest to participate in this create a title company. So 10K is the minimum, but certainly not the maximum. So, for example, if you wanted to invest $50,000 because of all those amazing perks and more involvement and, working more closely with Caleb and Stephen, right? Go ahead, type that in there. We have a lock-in amount that is a 3% transaction fee. That is what Fractional charges in order to actually set up this investment club so that we can all pool our capital together. So we're going to create the LLC, the operating agreement. We do identity verification, like I just mentioned, compliance, making sure everything is legally sound, legally compliant, everyone is safe, right? So that's what is being covered in that 3% fee. That's what you'll submit to lock in your spot. That tells us Fractional and also tells Caleb and Stephen that you are committed, you're locked in, you're excited, and we can count on you to become official partners in the club and the title company. So that is what's going to be due to lock in your spot. You can use a credit card to do that. You can use your bank account. All of that works. And then after Caleb and Stephen reach their goal, which I am very, very confident that it will happen very soon, just with how much traction that has already happened. So after, we reach that full 100% committed mark, that's when you'll be asked to wire or ACH your total investment amount. So whatever it is you typed in there, make sure, you have those funds ready in your bank account to send. And then after that, you guys are off to the races, right? You guys are now going to be official co-owners, business partners with Caleb and Stephen. You guys will run the business together and, really learn and grow from that experience. And on Fractional's end, we will cover all the back office related to your investment. So every time there's any sort of distributions, we're going to calculate how much each person should get. You'll get that sent to whatever bank account you have connected on the platform where you'd like to receive those distributions. And then we do tax filings and K1s for all of you guys as well. So by March 15th of every year, you will get your K1. You can then just, punch in those numbers in TurboTax, hand it to your CPA. It's super simple. We have never, ever been late in our 5 years of business. I know Caleb and Steven are very customer experience heavy people, and that's something that we also stand by as well. We never want people to have to file a tax extension because they don't have their K1. That will never happen here. So that is what Fractional takes care of. We handle the back office, the legal, the compliance, so that you guys get a focus on actually being partners and growing the business. So if you're excited, you want to be a part of this movement, like seriously, right? Like this, it is definitely not every day that we get the opportunity to be a partner in such an amazing business and work with amazing partners. So if that's something that you're into and you're excited, go to that link that I just dropped, hit that blue button to start the process. Caleb, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you. Well done. Okay, now remember, I invited people for 2 reasons. If you came just to learn, Q&A is now. We can ask anything. We can open the business plan. By the way, we made it in 35 minutes, so I put a 45-minute meeting on the calendar. We did pretty good. I put a link at the top, so we created a custom link so that you can just jump straight to it instead of having to type out a full link in case you are watching somewhere you can't click. In fact, if you're on Instagram, you might not even see the whole thing. How about I shrink this down a little bit for you? creativetitle.io/invest. I hope that all fits. That will forward you to the Fractional page if you're interested in actually investing there. So
we got a great question on the message board here from Sarah. It says a lot of title companies drive business and customer experience in person. I know you talked about all your 5-star reviews, but how do you drive business and great customer experience being 100% virtual? First of all, I just want to say thanks for such an awesome question. These are the types of people and relationships that we want to have involved in the business to test the business model, to bounce ideas off of each other. And I'm going to let Caleb answer this one. He's the best for this one.
Yeah, and I do appreciate hard questions. Like, stump me on a live stream if you can. I love it because I'm okay saying I don't know because I'm confident that I can find the answer to something. And that is right. That's what I want from a partner, is somebody who's going to challenge me. So I think title companies who do business in person, there is a crowd who wants that. We have been moving more and more to a digital experience. And what I want to tell you is that this is not cutting edge doing remote closings, not cutting edge at all. It's pretty normal now. You may not be used to it, but how often do you buy and sell a house? Investors are used to remote closings. And Empora Title is an example of a company that works in 12 states. They may have a corporate office, but you can't go close at their corporate office. They are 100% remote. They're an online-only company, and they've raised multiple rounds of funding. They're in the multi-million dollars worth of funding as they scale, and they're a software-first company. We're a customer service-first company. The thing about title companies is the business model is so mature and processized and systematized that it's available as commercial off-the-shelf software. There's one called SoftPro. There's one called Qualia. We've chosen Qualia. But Qualia has a great customer portal interface, and that's part of the customer experience for me. Yes, we can do everything manually. Why would we, though? If you have 2 deals a month, you can get off the ground as a title company in just about any state using Qualia. Qualia might cost a little too much for somebody doing 2 deals a month. But what I'm saying is the business model is basically bound up in software. You get a license, get your software, and you're in business. That may take a while, but it's not that hard. So the customer experience is our point of differentiation. So we how do I say that? Well, we've already done it. It's the effective communication. People appreciate. Paul Lawrence, I love you, a former boss of mine. He said, Caleb, you take feedback well, so I'm going to tell you this. If I have to come ask you a question, this is when I worked IT. He said, if I have to come ask you a question, you've probably already failed to inform me. You've probably already undercommunicated. I said, thank you, Paul. I'm going to go soak on that. Think on that for a long time. And I did. And it really I got a couple of employees on this call watching. They can tell you anytime how often I tell them, just take the blame on yourself. It's a healthy position to be. If you're in a customer service position and somebody asks you a question, you probably didn't understand how they prefer to be communicated with, how often they prefer to be communicated with, etc. You have to manage expectations. That is the entire customer experience. Customer experience suffers when? Should I just do a whole masterclass on customer experience? Customer experience suffers when Expectations are one thing and something else happens. If I show up late to an appointment, could be bad, could be good. If it's because I just had a baby, they're going to be happy for me. Yeah, be late. Please be late. Okay? So it's all the context. And if I communicate clearly ahead of time, you can't always have a baby and your grandma can't always die. We understand work excuses. But when you communicate effectively, people are not mad when stuff goes wrong. You have to manage expectations. Whenever you don't violate somebody's expectations, you're doing a really good job. That's where you get the 5-star experience. And so I am confident we can do that with a remote company. That also includes recognizing who's not our ideal customer and steering them towards somebody else. And that's okay by me, because I'd rather love the people that love me. You know?
I think we have a pretty good idea of who our market is and who our market isn't, and so that's definitely part of the plan.
Yeah.
All right, another great question here from Lisa. How do you derive your 5-year plan for transaction numbers? Have you considered assumptions in that there's a macro downturn in the housing market if during any of those 5 years?
There is room for a downturn, which could get us to a little bit of a softening on the numbers. What I did was I ran a 50% negative. Like, what if I'm off so bad? If I'm with my already conservative numbers, what if I'm off so far as to be overestimated by 50%? So if we cut it by 50%, that comes back. The math runs out, and we can show you in the pro forma. The math still runs out to be a, 4% per year? So it's kind of like a savings account. So it would be 120% over 5 years. So 100%, if 100,000 goes in and 100% comes back, that's 100,000 back over a 5-year period. You made nothing. At 120, you're effectively making the equivalent of $4,000 a year for 5 years. And so if we were off by 50%, if I overshot that far, it's still just a crappy positive return. Does that make sense? So we left room for there to be error. But here's the thing. I wanted to say this on stage in Arizona when I spoke about this, but I didn't have time. The thing with real estate, and I love real estate, and I've got real estate properties, they're very slow and steady and predictable. That's also what I like about the title industry. It's very slow and steady. The surges and sags are not that big. But also, there is the opportunity in any business to hit a moonshot. And you don't have that with a house. You don't have that with houses. And that's what I love about business.
The other thing as well, even though there might be a downturn in transactions, we may still, in purchase and sales, we may still see a large influx of refinances. And that's something that you could just speak about for a couple seconds.
Say that again.
So you talked about a wave of refinances coming. So
yeah.
Change, yeah.
If Americans are anything, it's impatient, and we have a ton of people with a lot of equity, and the rates have been sticking high, and so affordability is not as high as we'd like it, and rates are higher than we would like, and maybe they'll come down, maybe they won't. But when somebody gets enough equity, there's this gap. When their debt is down here and there's enough equity, if you can take out $40,000 to buy a boat or a car or a wedding without really changing your monthly house payment, you're going to do it. That's what Americans do. And so there is a wave of refinances coming, whether it's just by waiting until people have enough equity to do it, or if rates come down, because people have been saying date the rate, marry the house for a while now. Just go buy a house. The game isn't wait and buy real estate. It's buy real estate and wait. You can always refinance later. That's what agents have been, that's their selling point for the last 2 years. Just go buy a house. You can refinance when rates come down. But if you don't buy one now, the price goes up anyways, and you still don't have a house. So, yeah, I believe very strongly there's a wave of refinances coming. And those close at what? A title company.
Awesome. There was an earlier question here. Let me just see if I can find it quick. What are your thoughts on using home equity for this club and ownership, especially with rates now? That's from Jacob.
I tend to be a conservative investor, so if you shouldn't be doing speculative stuff. I invest with cash I have, not with debt that I pull. You can make a different decision, but I'm not sure Caleb would do that, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll weigh in here as well. So I deal in this space every day, and so one of the things that we talk about is everybody has a different circumstance. So if you're a 78-year-old man that's trying to retire and you're pulling equity out to do this, if you were my uncle, I would probably advise you no. But if you are 25 to 45 and you have a crap ton of equity in your home and you're making good income, et cetera, you have different circumstances, and so that would be a different conversation. So I think the answer is it depends.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm sitting on a lot of equity, if I'm sitting on a lot of trapped equity and I just want to pull it out and put it to good use, then yeah, all day. I believe in this business venture. I'm doing it anyway. We are already $30,000 out of pocket to get this company started. So I believe in it with my own pocketbook. I do see a question here by Joe. Your return on investment slide was not on top of what we invested included. Yes, that's correct. So, for example, 100 goes in, 241 comes out total, including the 100. Just to be clear.
Caleb, I don't know who it is, but you already had an investor just join, just live on this call.
Oh, how much was that?
We're at 145K now.
Wow. Thank you. Welcome to the team.
Yes.
I'm excited for you. Lisa asks, how did you derive your 5-year plan for transaction numbers? Oh, we already did that. Have you considered a downturn? The market will change up or down. I think it's on an upward trend for a little while longer, but I also think on top of the transaction volume of sales, I think there's a wave of refinances as well. Now, refinances are lower cash like revenue per file for us, but they're also not that hard, right? Title's not transferring. We're just basically coordinating a loan processing fee.
And the costs are lower as well.
Yeah. Guys, good questions. Yeah, credit market's starting to tighten. I know the rates are, everything's up in the air, but there's all this equity that's trapped. People will move. They'll move houses, or they'll move off the equity by refinancing. When you got $25,000 worth of credit card debt, like if they've already bought the car and all the other stuff, I'm confident there will be refinances or HELOCs to pull cash out to at least pay off higher interest debt. Oh, is that our lady, Martha? Love to have you. Okay, guys. If you've got more questions, you can reach me at cchristopher@creativetc.io. Our company is creativetitle.io. We're open in Colorado already. You can send files to us anytime. Why would you not want to own part of what you use every day? I posted this in a couple of places today. REI, yeah, real estate investing, but it can also stand for replacing expenses with income. Wouldn't you like to make money every single time you ran your own transaction? So the fractional page, we have a creativetitle.io/invest. That will take you to the fractional page where you can pop in and decide to work with us. Any last questions? Okay, guys. Thank you. It's an honor.
Have a great night, everyone.
Have a great night.